What does God look like? What do you see?
We're solar-powered biological AI.
Wait, what?
These ancient adversarial entities, I think it's the very same ones that rebelled against God and were cast out.
They were sent here to guide us in antiquity, and they took advantage of that and just masqueraded as gods.
What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon and welcome back to Greypilled. I am your host, Jules, the Elohim etymologist, the sound scientist, here today with a friend of mine. We haven't been on screen with each other in quite a while now. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. DOENUT is in the house, everybody. What's going on, DOENUT?
Yo, what up? It's DOENUT. Thank you, Jules.
Yes, sir.
Great to be back.
Yeah, man. It's
on the Greypilled Podcast. And I like the intro, how you had the Hammurabi Code right in the beginning, because these ancient secret societies trace all the way back to the Hammurabi Code.
Absolutely, dude. No, yeah.
Probably further.
Priest kings of Babylon and further back than that, dude. But yeah, no, we dive into a lot of ancient antiquity on this show and the mysteries that took place throughout it. And I know that you kind of get into the same stuff I do. You go a little further into these particular deep dives on a lot of the symbolism happening like right in front of our faces, mainstream. No one recognizes it, though. And
well, their subconscious recognizes the symbols. Symbols are so powerful that if I post a symbol on Twitter, a religious symbol, you'll have multiple autonomic nervous system reactions to it. So symbols control people, and who controls the symbols controls the people. So it's a fascinating topic of symbolism, and that's what these secret societies, they utilize. And this is how you can figure out how the world actually operates, is through symbolism, is one of the biggest ways. People say, follow the money. They could print money into infinity. It's all fake, Follow the symbols of heraldry and whatnot, and a different story will unravel, and it's very fascinating.
Well, money is also a part of that symbolism, right? Like in a little way.
Yes.
So yeah, guys, be sure to like and share the stream. Let's get as much people in here as we can. Here, I'm going to go ahead and if you aren't yet, go over to DOENUT's page. Go over to his channel, his Rumble.
DOENUT.
Go over to a lot of numbers on there. I was trying to.
My Rumble look tight.
Yes, sir. No, here. I was gonna pull up your YouTube as well, man. Your YouTube is popping.
Yeah, the YouTube's cool. Not as much videos on there, but I do post there.
Well, you told me you just got monetized, so guys, go over to YouTube and subscribe to DOENUT's channel as well. I was gonna share this, his Patreon.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, man. No, well, we were talking earlier, and Patreon helps a lot, and you also get content. Like, dude, on my Patreon, I have content on there that the public doesn't see, so I think it's good to have somewhere like that where you can post some exclusive stuff. Yeah, guys, y'all go over there and subscribe to DOENUT. Be sure to support him. This is what he does. He's one of the, I guess you could say, what's the word? Spear tip of the truther movement.
Oh,
One
no.
of them. I would
The
definitely say that,
I've been
brother.
kicked out of the truther movement. I'm not a part of it anymore.
You're
I
dead.
I was a spear tip during the lockdowns when the world actually was in crisis mode. I was out there telling people, "Hey, look what's happening. This is bad." And
Yeah.
I definitely was at that moment in time. But after the
I was
lockdown,
watching you, dude. I mean, I could from
everybody-
experience.
are we on YouTube?
We are.
Okay. After everybody participated in that ritual, worldwide ritual, the world opened back up. Everybody like me and plenty others were removed of the algorithms. And then we got new plans that are coming straight from different socialist backgrounds, different Fox News type backgrounds, mainstream media backgrounds, connected to religious institutions, whatnot, not people, institutions controlling messaging of the truther community. So who's spearheading the alternative movement today is the mainstream. And so I've been removed from that. I'm not, my numbers have dropped drastically. But that's okay, because this is a vocation of mine, a passion. This is just what I've been interested in since I guess 2006, when I learned about Jordan Maxwell.
Red Pill Daddy.
Yes, which I think the movie was Zeitgeist that came out, and I was like, whoa, there's symbolism, which I think was a psychological operation at a certain time frame to remove a lot of religious elements of belief systems away from people. And they knew that these plans were going to unfold over the decade, because these rituals and plans of the Illuminati are century-long goals. Like, we think TikTok, we think, what's the next day? I mean, we're in a rat race. We got to pay bills. We're stuck in life. There's no time to plan stuff out. But you could see the ancient cultures, the ancient Chinese cultures and whatnot. They plan stuff out through legacy, through a long time. So a century-long ritual, century-long goal is all planned out for 2030, right? So this 2030 could go back to the Agenda 21 type plans. So every single thing unfolding, even that could be some sort of manipulation. And we see that today, even with, I believe, what every single mainstream podcast tells everyone to watch, which is the Last Battle film, because that is what went viral to make people more narrow-minded on just one group of people, rather than seeing a bigger picture of what's really going on. And I think that's also fabricated as well.
Oh yeah, well, people point at the Illuminati and they look at it as one group, right? But we know that it's all these little subgroups, worshiping these different deities. They all have different rituals, different rites, all that stuff. And it's just, them all put under one entity, right?
Yes, Illuminati is nothing but a blanket term I use, because it's very mainstream with movies like the Da Vinci Code. That doesn't mean that the Illuminati doesn't exist. It absolutely does exist. It still exists today. It is a real secret society. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Rhodes Scholars, Billington, who worked for the U.S. Congress, library, was writing about in Fire in the Minds of Men. This is not fiction. Secret societies actually are what move big events, like the big events that happen over the last 4 years and longer. These are orchestrated events by a hidden hand through secrecy. And we can see this with the Black Hand, for example, a secret society that launched off World War I with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand on June 28th.
Which was a king kill ritual, right?
So you even got the king kill rituals, where you have this conspiracy, people conspire. So we are in a conspiracy because we just conspired to make a video. So that right there is a conspiracy in a sense, right? So two people rolling out plans. So but they'll give us all these different blanket groups using this divide and conquer strategy where we fight with each other. And this is in movie programming, where if everybody's getting put through a ritual that focuses on everybody's autonomic nervous system. So if you're part of a culture or a heritage, a race, you're going to be deliberately pointed at, targeted in a sense to activate your survival mechanism. And once you're in this fight or flight survival mechanism, you're easier to control. So everybody's going to be going through that.
It's just like animals.
That's how they look at us.
Right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, School Your Freedom, or Hovarvo Nervari, or whoever, all the top
impersonation.
All the top government officials. That's how they look at us, and also the AI. So now we're in a whole different, reality. People like, for example, like Iran, for example, they're using the ancient technology of missiles. Like what that is like caveman stuff. We're in a whole nother reality right now with the AI. And that's what this whole AI and numerology, like numbers, A is 1, I is 9, 19. You'll see this 19 pop up in like big events. And the AI is studying us as animals, not just us, but the birds and whatnot. So during a protest, we'll see the Waymo cars lit on fire. Those were lit on fire by people that work for Google, most likely,
Right.
because it is learning the environment. So the next phase of AI is learning environments. Like it already learned the internet and words and calculating our thoughts and our emotions. The next step to AI development is environmental learning. So when the protesters funded by Walmart, the not King Kill, but that's a good one. The No Kings protest.
Right.
These dumb ass communist, socialist, leftists,
Marxists. Yeah.
Marxists. They're like, we don't want no kings, but they freaking bow down to the Walmart family, to the Bezos family, to the George Soroses, to all real kings that are there. And so when they set the Waymo's AI cars for the smart cities on fire, the Waymo cars are not just studying the animals of us doing it, how we react, but it's also seeing what is the birds doing. It's on next level environmental learning in real life situations.
That's wild to think about, man. It's almost as if it's sentient or something,
I don't know what sentient means. So
like has its own consciousness, has developed some sort of consciousness where it thinks of itself as its own entity, right? It's its own, like it has some kind of, I guess you create, is this what they mean when they talk about creating the demon?
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't, it could maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think in a way, and I've been talking about this a lot lately, the idea of thought forms and using mass consciousness to create these thought forms, either through fear or some stronger kind of emotion. And when you look into ritual magic, you find that this stuff is very real. It's not just, you create something and he's like your little homunculus on your shoulder or whatever. Like you create something and it may physically manifest, such as a tulpa or something of that nature, which comes from Eastern mysticism, which I've been diving into a whole lot lately. But I do think there's a spiritual component to this AI, especially seeing it develop, man. It's like it has us down to a T now. Like the difference in the AI from 6 months ago to now is mind-blowing. Seeing how they can recreate a movie scene, or just by entering the slightest prompt, right? I mean, it's scary when you really think about it. I mean, we kind of have learned to live with it, but just imagine if somebody was to walk into, modern tech, like this modern world, and just like out of the 1700s, dude, they'd be terrified. They'd be like, what is this witchcraft? Like, what thou doing, what thou are doing.
So 6 months ago, now the next 6 months, what's going to happen is there's going to be a deluge, a flood of AI that we're not going to know the difference between reality and fiction. And this has been primed for us in films like the Mountainhead film that just came out. So there's this film, Mountainhead. It was a good movie about 4 technocrats ruling the world on top of this mountain. And now the military just signed a type of contract called 201 detachment, which is a big Illuminati number, the 201 number, about hiring 4 different technocrats to rule stuff. Now we even have Elon, this technocrat, creating a new saying Republic is bad, Democrat is bad. Let's create a new thing, which is all part of the dark MAGA. This is all part of a agenda behind the scenes with the technocracy. And they have all these occult belief systems. So when we see things like Kanye West pushing this hyper division, this is actually part of the plan. There's mimetic magic. You were bringing up tulpas. Tulpas go back to the shaman days where it is a meme. So mimetic magic is how you rise to power. Terrence McKenna spoke about it as well. Timothy Leary, before we even had memes on the internet. Right. Dogecoin brought Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to the front by the guy who created it, most likely Elon Musk and his handler, Peter Thiel, who was just speaking at the Bilderberg conference as well. He's part of the steering committee. And these are secret societies. Bilderberg, that meeting that just went on, why did no one talk about that, right? That's a big freaking powerhouse meeting full of national socialists and all of that world control.
For so long now, we've known about the Bilderberg, but like,
true,
it's like we haven't found anything else out about it, right? So it kind of floats away to a certain extent. Like we kind of lose track of it, and we always know about the Bilderberg group, but we don't, we're kind of digging into this other group now. This, because it's like back to what I was saying, how it's all these smaller groups forming this much larger group, and I think that could be a big distraction as well. Do you think like they are performing these rituals themselves, or do you think we're doing it for them?
That's a great question. And I think it's a little bit of both, where you'll have these secret cults, these Dionysian type cults that we can trace back for a long time, where we get like real LSD and acid MK Ultra trips, where these cults would go underneath the ground into the caves, do all this crazy ice.
The Mithras, the rebirth rituals. Yeah.
And then that we know that's a thing. And it hasn't gone away, went underground in a sense. And this sometimes crops back up in history where resurfaces. Then we're like, oh my goodness, we totally see the satanic element. But I do think that they get the masses initiated too, but on a lower type ritual, like a Super Bowl event, right? That goes on. That's a big ritual. The tulpa of the stadium and everybody going back to Ishtar in a sense. That's a big fertility rite. It's all about
with the football being an egg, right?
Football is like an egg too. Yeah, it does look like an egg. And then Rihanna's pregnant at it. I think these are definitely ritualistic elements for the hive mind, but that's more for just keeping them, paralyzed, retarded state of mind, slow down, dumb down, give them the UFC games, even
the bread and circus. Yeah, because then people focus on that one thing, and the other stuff they couldn't give two hoots about. It's like whatever. Have you seen this? Do you see what everyone's talking about? Look at this. And for people who are just waking up, just like a regular normie, like who knows how long that stays with them. That's exciting, But
and I mean, I don't think it's like a terrible thing. Like I go out and walk around town because there's the gray pill, there's the blue pill, there's the gold pill, there's the God pill, there's the red pill, there's so many different types of pills.
there's all the pills.
Don't do it. Don't do any of them. Don't take any of the pills. But when I walk around town, people don't look people in the eyes. I just stare down people all day, just like, and try to wave and say hello. And people just are in their own world, in their own reality, and they're happy with it. And maybe this is just like human nature, where there is certain innovators, and then there's the masses. And the masses is probably the 80%, and the 20% is probably the people who are like creative and creating stuff. I don't even know if it would be a 50-50 split. It could be, because everything, 50-50. In the world, there's up, down, left, right, two ears.
The duality of everything. Right.
And stuff, So just on my truth journey, it goes from mad, freaked out, paranoid. Then eventually you're like, and then you come to an acceptance. And then there's different stages that everybody's in with, how are they handling learning that pretty much all of history, most of it, that's been fabricated to us through social studies, Rockefeller type social studies, has been to manipulate our minds on how we think of things.
Social studies.
Social studies is like the big mind control program in public schools, government schools, because it's a massive amount of research to understand, for example, ancient Egypt or something like that. But we'll just get one page of it, of ancient Egypt, and one page of Greece, and one page of this. And so that's how they control you, because there's no deep dives. Just like TikTok. TikTok in Reels, if I want a successful channel, I got to start making Reels. And I hate Reels. Like, I don't like editing them, But the long form content is king if you want to learn, because you got to dive deep, and that's what I'm into.
Well, yeah, and with them writing these textbooks, they are practically writing our history, right? Like it's what they say, which I find pretty scary. Now we have the ability to go back and reteach our kids things. Like, there's a lot of things I've had to tell my son, that have maybe made him uncomfortable. But I felt like it's my duty as a father to do it, not to black pill him per se, but just to kind of siphon off a little bit, like a quarter of a gray pill, and be like, hey, here, I'm going to put this under your pillow. You can find it in the morning. But, I think it happens more than we know, man. And, like you had mentioned, the Super Bowl is one thing. I mean, I think all sports really have some sort of, definitely like a bread and circus behind it. But these things that happen on the main stage, a lot of these, award shows, right? Where you actually see they have their idols there with them, and they are worshiping them in front of everybody. The Golden Globes, the Grammys, the Oscars, all these, where these people dress up as quote unquote stars, right? And they go, and it's nothing but a bunch of egotists and psychopaths, in my opinion. And I learned some of that from you. Like, bro, when you first came out with stuff, you were talking about the Illuminati dolphins, right? And then you got into the Sampaku eyes, and I was like, oh wow, I had no idea that even existed. And that took me down a rabbit hole. And lately, I think you brought up something. What was it? The blue tongue, the methylamine blue.
Oh yeah, methylene blue.
What's all that about,
the blue
bro?
drip.
Because there's a few things I want to talk to you about, but that's one of them.
Yeah. when I did the Illuminati dolphins, I noticed a lot of people were stealing my information and putting it out there. And I was like, you know, it'd be funny if I make something so ridiculous and do an Illuminati dolphin and see if people will copy it. That's literally how I like started it, because of Robert Anton Wilson. He has like the dolphins on his Illuminatus thing. So
And with John C. Lilly as well.
So that's where it took a turn. That I'm like, oh my goodness, there's something here. And then the dolphin goes back to the ancient times, even some of the most ancient symbols, maybe of the all-seeing eye, of Anet, I believe. I'm probably saying it wrong. But these different gods and goddesses with the dolphin. The dolphin is super important symbolically. And the research of MK Ultra is very tied to the dolphin experiments. The whole UFO stuff is so like it started off as a joke, but then I'm like, there's something here. So methylene blue is about the Illuminati stallions, where I wanted to get into horse symbolism of the horses. So I'm
like
trying to
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
What was it? The Denver airport, right?
Exactly. Lucifer, this blue horse. And then I started looking into all these horse symbols, which are very prominent. The Knights Templar riding on a horse with the two twins riding it. And then you learn about, the divine twins and how they're connected etymology wise. I'm so bad with words. They're connected, the horse gods as well. So just going into all the different horse stuff. And I'm like, how can I mix this in with a trending topic? Everybody's promoting this methylene blue, which was, in horse medication as well. So I was like, I'm just going to make this a creative video. So that video, mad truth in it, mad symbolism in it. But what I like to do is I like to get creative and have a good, make it very entertaining, filmmaking wise. And so I mix it in with some wild stuff. But everybody's tongues and organs are turning blue, because when you take the substance, even the movie The Substance that won the awards at the Oscars or whatever it's called, that it starts off with blue and ends with blue, because blue is a color code as well. That is symbolic. Sampaku eyeball. So I'm just looking at all the different symbols, color coding, symbols, horses, all this has a deep meaning into it in art and all of that. So the Aztecs painted themselves blue, like Mel Gibson, the head of Hollywood, a total agent. And when everyone didn't like Mel Gibson, I supported him and I liked his movies, because I'm like, he's a good actor. Like, you can't take that away from him. Yeah. But now everyone likes him again, and I'm like, screw him. I'm trying to go against whatever the crowd's doing in a sense. But these guys are all in on the game. They're all part of these occult societies. But he made that movie Apocalypto, a great film, and they paint the sacrifice blue. So everybody's getting painted blue, their organs. So I was just saying, like, is there some sort of ritual going on?
Well, I'd seen you post some stuff. Somebody, the what was it, a blue tongue, and this goes back to the blue bloods.
Blue bloods.
Yeah, and the Hindu gods being blue. The Hindu gods were blue, and the tongue, the all-mocking tongue of Kali, came from that, mythology, right? The demon goddess Kali, who you would look at in Sumeria as Irish Kagal. You see her everywhere, right? The queen of the underworld.
Well, so there was a secret society called the Thuggee cult. This is a famous secret society that worshiped Kali. They were not a problem, actually.
The Hash Assassins?
That's actually a secret society as well.
Right. Okay. Because the Thuggies, I've seen them, and they look pretty mean.
Yes, they were. They were going around just sacrificing random people for the goddess Kali, and this is where we get California, Cali thuggy life, Cali doing gang stuff. But this is a secret society that wasn't an actual bad society. It gets hijacked by these empires and they radicalized them into a weaponry type cult. So this cult, the Thuggee cult, that's what they did for the goddess Kali is what they said that it was for, but it was definitely just a proxy to some military arm. Oh, look, it's Nancy. Whoop, whoop, Nancy.
Love Nancy. Nancy's the best. She said blue roof.
All the blue roofs in Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot you met Nancy.
Nancy's great.
She's awesome, man. Shout out Nancy. Big supporter of the show. Man, I was going, oh, my God. Thuggee.
And then the blue
roof
in Hawaii, and then there's a movie called Blue Hawaii. So there's a lot of stuff to it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So there's something there with that blue roof. Yeah, I had Cosmic Peach. She came on, talked about the Thuggies on this one episode. Well,
that's a great name, Cosmic Peach.
Yeah, man. You should do. You should hit her up sometime. Her name's Julia. She's pretty cool.
Cosmic Peach and Donut. Too sweet.
She does deep dives into a bunch of cults and a bunch of symbolism. So she's pretty cool chick.
I think I met her. Was she at the Bro Grove?
I don't think she was, but she's been around for a while.
Yeah, I've seen her stuff.
Yeah,
I think
she's
on
been around for a while.
Before I was banned off Rockfin.
Probably, yeah. I never got a chance to even get on Rockfin, dude.
They banned me.
What? They banned you?
Yeah, I was banned. I got a strike on Rumble before Rumble was cool. Removed off Rockfin, removed off YouTube, demonetized my whole time I've been doing this, and it finally got it monetized because they're opening up, letting people accelerate division. So that's why they're opening up free speech. It has nothing to do with free speech. It has everything to do with algorithmic data. People are being used as tools for an agenda.
Right.
For sure. What's happening?
Look, somebody put I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die on here. That's
I'm blue.
The strange song.
Yeah, I think that was a mind control song, just like Kanye West song. Yeah. So there's this thing called an earworm. Okay. And what an earworm is utilized through marketing strategies. These billion-dollar corporations selling pharmacia, selling different ideas, selling political votes and whatnot. Every commercial you'll see, it will have just a clip of a song like Lizzo, and it'll be like, about that time, buy your medication here, or buy this food product here, or cast your vote here.
Right.
And they use this little clip. So that blue song was an earworm. So if you just heard a little clip of it, it would go into your brain through mind control, in a sense, keep repeating. Kanye West just did this with his song that was banned, supposedly, but I hear it everywhere I go. That it's removed, which is also a strategy used by many different businesses and whatnot. Jerry Springer, kind of too hot for TV, you know. Right. That is a selling tool. The Queen is Dead song, I believe, by the Sex Pistols, who became millionaires.
God Save the Queen.
God Save the Queen.
Yeah.
That was banned, and they were like, oh, wow, it gets a lot of views when you say something's banned. Or if somebody passes away, their album sales skyrocket. This is all 100% data analytics verified.
Right.
So with Kanye's song, you weren't allowed to hear the whole song. All you can hear is just a little snippet of it. So when you're driving around, it's playing in your head. These are earworms. And the blue song was a few decades prior to where we're at with the technologies of ear pods and earbuds. And when people are listening to stuff in their ear pods, the ear pods also work for people that are deaf now. So you put it in your ear, you can hear better and whatnot. The technology is crazy. What kind of frequencies are going in messagings and whatnot? I think that
healthy.
Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows?
I tend to think whatever they're giving us isn't healthy, man. Like when the 5G came out, right? I mean, I've heard now there's some people who, if they wear an Apple Watch, wear it long enough, they take it off, and there's like a little square on their wrist or something, man. Like a
Interesting.
radiation square almost. It's the
Interesting.
same with if you keep your phone on your pants. Apparently, you'll have something on your leg. I saw some pictures and some videos from this one post. But no, man, I think they need us to perform these mass rituals because they don't have enough energy to do it on their own. And so they use us through pop culture, through sports, through all this stuff that we, find entertaining. And we most of us don't know. I mean, I know I sure as hell didn't know up until I got to be a certain age and snapped out of it. Somebody, I think Subliminal said, ask about Mountain Dew.
Mountain
Now,
Dew.
is there something relating to the blue having to do with the dew?
So yeah, Mountain Dew is interesting because this goes into priming. So in hypnosis, you prime somebody. If you watch a film, they'll be like, I wonder who the killer is. And usually they'll show the killer, and they're not going to tell you it's the killer. It's just priming your mind subconsciously, being hypnotized through the film, that when it shows you this is the killer, your brain's like, oh yeah, it is. How did I not see that? So
Right.
It's a hypnosis technique called predictive programming. There's another word used for it as well, but it's way too out of my wicked smart league. I'm not there yet. I'm working hard on getting wicked smart.
Even more
But
wicked smart.
Mountain Dew and different food products, they show us, because we go survive, we go to the grocery store to survive. They're showing us through the magazines of all the queens and the kings. There, for some reason, the royal family is all over when you go to the supermarket in America. Right. And then you got all the Mountain Dew products or different drinks or food with symbols on it. Mountain Dew, I believe I broke this first because I was super hyper focused on Mountain Dew during the fires because they had a Maui burst, and it got picked up by a lot of channels, which was cool. But the Code Red, that came out just a month prior to Homeland Security, the feds turning the Patriot Act kind of stuff with the terror thing that says Code Red on it right before. So there's and it happens a month or two prior. So Mountain Dew will release something, and then an event will happen later. That's connected with it. Maverick Approach has done a great job putting together that thesis so much that Mountain Dew actually went into his comments and was like, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing something right when that happens. I don't drink Mountain Dew, dude. Since I saw you do that, yeah, I don't drink Mountain Dew anymore. I heard it's bad for reproduction purposes anyway. So
the Yellow 5, I remember hearing that when I was a kid.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But that's wild, man. And it does seem like they're kind of telling us, put out the Code Red a month before this natural disaster or something happens. It's like, if you can recognize the signs and symbols, good on you. If you can't, it sucks for you, Well,
the craziest symbol that breaks my brain is the LGB movement symbols, and Greta Thunberg and their connection with radical Islam as well. So these two things that are opposing each other that on paper make no sense teaming up, right? And then you learn about
it'll set you on fire and throw you off a building.
But this is the thing that it broke my freaking mind when you learn about the ideologies of worldwide communism and worldwide socialism, the stuff that's the goal. The goal is worldwide communism. Once you learn about the symbols of what is worldwide communism and the different institutions that are behind pushing it, you'll see, oh, that's why. So that's why be all sharing the same symbols. So when you learn about symbols and ideologies, it'll break your freaking mind, because you'll see things on the world stage that make no sense. Why are these people teaming up? Like we'll see right now, there's the big thing with the woke right and whatnot. Why? And that's been totally just like what it is. A lot of it is like it's turning a lot of people off.
Well, you get someone like Stu Peters, who's an actor, right? Let's just be honest, he's an actor. And you get him to write, make some J-proof coin, and then he rug pulls it, right? And all these people who have been following his movement lose all this money on it. And I saw people calling this out way before it even happened. You know what I mean? It's like, nice grip, buddy.
Well, okay, so this is a good kind of thing, is that like the woke right, it's just the ideology of the left, but they're camouflaging through this ideology, saying I'm conservative, but they're teaming up with conservative that aren't conservative. They're teaming up with liberals and socialists. Like that doesn't make any freaking sense. But once you figure out the ideologies and the symbols, your brain will be like, mine has been broken over the last 2 years. And it was kind of cool though, because it freaked me out, but it was like new. I was like, I just uncovered something crazy.
Dude, see if you can find something on the Islam or the symbolism between the LGBT and
well, so this is like,
or if you can give me an example, because that is very interesting.
Well, Tessarian, Charles Moskowitz, they've broken down the Enslaved podcast. They broke it down way better than I can, so I recommend people.
I've seen Charles before, yeah.
They're way better at that than I can. I'm a dumbass, and I'm just trying to figure out stuff. But you got George Soros, right? Who everyone's like, he's a J, right? George Soros, right? But he works with the National Socialists, with Adolf and whatnot,
and then funds the leftists.
And then he funds the pro-Palestine movement in America, like the No Kings kind of things, because that's what he does, is color revolution. So on paper, that doesn't make sense. But then once you find the ideologies of these different creatures, and then you connect with the symbolism, and then it just like, it's blown away. So what it is a bunch of skin suits. And this goes for every single religious institution, political party, where on stage, they'll be like, yo, I'm this. I'm part of this religion. I'm part of this political movement. This is me. Yay. But they're disguising themselves. And behind the scenes, they're all working together in this underground network to destroy everybody.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I probably am not saying it well enough. It's something I've been just researching and looking into, and
well, that's
I'm not an authority on that topic whatsoever.
Well, hey man, no, I mean you're getting on here and talking about it. I mean, you have a lot of people who know about this stuff but don't even speak two words on it. So I think there's something to that, and I do think with the symbolism, man, it goes back. These symbols are alive. My opinion, these symbols have been charged by some type of energy, and they have been put out there. And whoever chooses to use them, they may take on that energy or whatever force is connected to that symbol or sigil, as you could say. And this goes to like the emojis looking straight, like they're straight out of the Goetia, the Lesser Keys of Solomon, and like more stuff just like that. And when you first see it, you're just like, there's no way that could be true. And then you look into it a little more, man, and it boggles the mind. Now, when I had talked to you, you had mentioned Machiavelli. Now,
Yeah.
you just read a book on him, right?
Yeah,
I saw you it was like a post, and it was like the last book I was reading, and I saw that you had put that book on there. So
This was my book back. Shout out to
He's got
Tupac.
notes.
Tupac made an album called Illuminati, right? I think that's how I learned about the Illuminati, through Tupac. And he went under the name the Don Machiavelli, 7-Day Theory. And then I believe he passes away like 7 days after its release or something like that, where he was assassinated in the 702. And it got me into the philosophy. I went and picked up this book because I used to wear my Machiavelli Tupac clothes all through high school. That was like the brand. And then I was like, I'm going to buy this book when I was 21, 22, and I could not read. I did not know how to read. I used to read a lot when I was in
I went to
elementary.
Jackson Public School. I still don't know how to read DOENUT.
When I was in elementary school, I would read Brave New World. I was an avid reader, and then I stopped reading. And so then I picked this book up, and I got it all highlighted back when I was like 21, and I'm 37 now. So this is a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to pick this book back up because I want to know, get like familiar with some more power stuff, because power is part of secret societies and conspiracies. This book's all about conspiracy. And people would be like, you're trying to learn Machiavelli. I go to the bookstore and people are like, what do you read it? And I'm like, Machiavelli. And they're like freaked out. They're like, are you trying to learn Machiavellian behavior? And then I'm like, no, this is a precursor to, I'm going to read The Republic next. And then I'm going to read Aristotle's ethics book next, just to, get wicked smart. And then it turns out
that's pretty highbrow, bro.
Well, then it turns out that everybody's read it, because every single person I've talked to about this book has read this book. And it just goes into power of a new principality. So if you're a new prince on the scene, how to retain that power. It doesn't go into hereditary bloodlines. This is how the Illuminati rule and whatnot, because they're just born into a bloodline, which is much more easier to maintain than a new power, a new principality, a new prince that rises. So it goes into all the different ways a prince must act in the public view, the public eye. And Machiavelli, he's famous for the thing, is it better to be feared or loved? And he, says fear. You want to be more feared than loved. So that's like where he was famous. It's quoted in the Bronx Tale movie. But I'm not 100% back on what he is saying.
Didn't he fake his death?
I'm not sure if he faked his death, but he was tortured for like a week. And that's kind of where he came up with a lot of the effectiveness of the fear, because of his torture he went through for a week. And then he was banished from being in politics. And so he just was a commentator, like a podcaster with other intellectuals. And he wrote this book to give to the Medici family, whoever was ruling, and they didn't really care about it, because the prince who was in power, the king or whoever, he was more into the brothels and drinking and didn't really care. But then it turned out to be like a wonderful book that stood the test of time in the philosophy of power. And I really like learning about power. And so, this is a good one to rehash.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You have power. What Scarface said, for once you have the power, then you get the money, then you get the women. And
First you get the money.
First you get the
then
money.
you get the power. Then you get the woman.
And so it's like, if they have the power, like they can write history.
Well, Scarface, perfect example of someone who was a new prince, a new principality who rose to power.
Wow. Yeah.
But Sosa, he was in power for a long time, and Scarface, he wouldn't at the end take out the little kid in a right
to bite the hand that fed him, right?
Well, he was supposed to boom a car, and there was a kid in the car, so he was like, I'm not going to do that. So he kind of went against the rules of Machiavelli to retain his power, and then that's where Sosa, that started his downfall as well.
Wow. I never thought about Scarface in such like deep.
No, I'm just being funny. I like to simplify stuff. No, the Scarface movie is a good movie. I like that film, but it goes into secret societies. That's the mafia. The mafia is a secret society. There's conspiracies all throughout the mafia.
Dude, have you dug into that? Like the La Cosa Nostra, their link to black magic?
Tell me about it. Probably through the sigils and the symbols. Like all the different gangs use symbols.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd say it's. I mean, you could say it's the same with Family Crest, right?
Absolutely.
But like when you look at the Ochoa family from Colombia, and you see they have so much power, and you look at like their house, it's a beautiful house, tons of land, cattle, and all this stuff, but it's like, I don't know, what things did they have to do to get this power? Right? And that's when it gets a little creepy and dark. And like the main guy in that family, Don Fabio Ochoa, the big guy, he would tell the news and everybody, you know, I raise horses. That's how I made my wealth. And it's like, okay, old man. And then his sons just run the cocaine, right? Because his sons all went to prison for 25 years because they were all they were part of the Medellin cartel. So I guess this was
like Pablo Escobar.
Yeah. With Pablo, and like I've been getting into that a whole lot lately. I
read a book on how I believe it was the FBI or the CIA, how they took out Pablo, and they go into the history of Pablo Escobar, how he purchased he had all the hospitals running, he had everything running. Like he was not like viewed as like a terrible person to people around him, but if you screwed him over, he chops off your arms and legs and pushes you into the pool. That's something that he did in his hotel. So he like has all these different
and that's the sinister aspect with the mob, dude. It's like you see all these like Italian old men drinking espresso, and you don't know that in just like under 5 minutes they could have you back behind the meat shop or wherever they are, you know, chopping you up into salt. Like it gets, you know. And so when you look at I guess the cartel, they were into Santa Muerte, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, right. and they've talked about it more in recent times as well, like the Sinaloa cartel and stuff. You know, so, and, you know, hey guys, I'm just talking about, you know.
And they would, like Pablo, he would have these eyes wide shut parties with his team members where they would all be having these ritualistic parties, if you know what I mean.
Really?
Where they were smashing. They had smash parties where they all would smash. Yeah.
So that just begs the question, like,
and it's not as innocent. It's not as innocent as it sounds. It's
right. Well, I'm saying
not
like
innocent at all. What was going down?
Were they just more private about it, you know, than these people are today? Because I mean, in recent news, you know, the whole stuff with Diddy, right? I mean, did you see that coming? Did you know that was going to get thrown out?
You know, it's interesting, the Diddy thing. I didn't follow it at all. Diddy is a political pawn, so he's definitely part of the different blackmail operations. And yeah, it's doesn't surprise me one bit that they're just case closed. He did some bad things, case closed. Let's not look at this. Let's not look at Mike Myers was being a intelligent 007 at these parties, gathering information
while playing a secret agent, right? While playing a secret agent, while playing Austin Powers.
While playing Austin Powers, and then he does the Pentaverate film after it, which is about the Illuminati.
That show, I actually enjoyed that show. I'm not.
It's a good show, yeah.
I thought
love
it was
Austin
kind of
Powers
funny.
Too.
Kind of poking at Alex Jones and stuff, you know, with the whole like, you know, InfoWars guy. I thought that was kind of funny.
In the Pentaverate, this is something that I've been breaking down that nobody's broke down really yet, but I think there's power to the 5, which is the fist, right? The 5 fingers, the fist. the Illuminati. It's
Well,
five
it's the
symbols.
Vitruvian Man, right?
The Vitruvian Man.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dude.
That's
yeah,
another
no,
thing. Like these symbols aren't evil. Like a pentagram, people are like, "Oh, that's satanic."
Donut.
It's like the pentagram's not a satanic symbol.
Donut.
It got inverted, and then like it gets hijacked.
The pentagram. So it's a intention purpose, right? This
I
can
believe
be
it's
used
water,
to
too.
Yeah, this can be used to invoke something, or it can be used to protect you from something, right? In terms of the pentacle, you turn it
Oh, the
upside down,
pentagon.
it's a pentagram,
And then you got
right?
the pentagon, which is like where
Then
the
you have the
powerhouse.
pentagon, dude. There is something in 5, and I haven't dived into that too much, like, because you get into 4, like everyone thinks that 666, right, is the worst number. And you're like, dude, y'all must have not read into 77, Goat of Mendez, 93, all these real dark Crowleyan numbers, right? Those are the real evil numbers, I think. And especially, well, like I said, it goes back to intention, how these numbers are used, what rituals they are used in. But I'm willing to bet that most of the time they're not used too much for good, right? Hence the subversion of all this ancient esoteric knowledge to use for the means of these psychopaths.
And the pentagram is also connected to the rose. So when you see a rose, that's also a pentagram because Venus makes a pentagram in the sky.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of astrological and different meanings to different symbols. I'm doing my next documentary on the show The Office, and Jan Livingston Gould, who's Michael's boss, who she starts to sleep with, Gould is a family that manipulated the stock market. And like, I'm just looking up into all the different names. It's going to be a fantastic documentary presentation that's coming out next month.
Will that be on the Patreon?
It will first be on Patreon when it's ready. I'll even put out probably the script and the PDF, which I did for the horse documentary, which has more info, because when you make a documentary from a script, it's all about removing as much as possible because there's so much in it. So on the Patreon, you do get early access. You do get extra goodies like that. But it'll be public next month. And BJ Novak, who plays Ryan Howard, he gets sent by corporate in New York by a lady named, I don't know if it's Dominic or something like that, but you never see this woman. But I like looking up the name, and her name means Venus, right? The morning star. So it also means Lucifer, too.
And then you have the Statue of Liberty in New York, possibly being a representation of Lucifer, right? Because people think Lucifer and they think, a man, fallen angel. This is Venus, right? There's both a masculine and feminine aspect to Lucifer, as there is with almost anything, to be completely honest with you. And that's where that dualistic aspect of the occult kind of comes into everything, right?
Well, and also there's the Statue of Liberty being blue, and it started off like a gold, like a bronze, copper, and then over time it turns blue. So they knew it was going to rust and turn blue eventually. So it's sort of like a metamorphosis, transmutation from
an alchemical transformation, maybe
something like that.
Yeah.
Because the guy who created it was very into the occult and whatnot,
and it with the intention of creating what he's creating. It's like it serves a purpose, I think, and that's back to what we were talking about with the tulpas and the egregores. These things that people create. I believe they can turn from ideas into something that physically manifests, right? Also, something that is physical, something that's drawn out or made up, can start to exist in other realms and maybe be taken over by astral, non-physical entities that we have no idea exist. We don't know their names, we don't know what they look like, but they manifest through this certain idea, thought form, whatever you want to call it. It's just something.
Even with music. So like Lil Wayne, for example, because I know me and you have the same musical background with Memphis hip hop and all
Absolutely.
that even a certain type of music that we listen to in our car, the car is the container for the tulpa or the spirit or the soul. So we're in our car, we got our boom box or whatever, the bass and all that, and then it's playing the music and what kind of like bumper stickers are on the car that like we're in that is charging the person in the container. So this is sort of how magic works with casinos. So casino is a good explanation of this. At a casino, you're stuck in a container. You can't find the exit. You don't know what time it is. And they're playing music like you can't always get what you want. Same thing with a grocery store. A grocery store, you're stuck in it and they're playing music. You're around all these symbols and it's charging some sort of energy where you become the symbol. You become the symbol. So there's something, I believe, like deep going on some spiritual plane for sure, with music too, adding that component into it. So like if you listen to Lil Wayne, like you'll feel like there's like an energy and era of you're like, I'm rich, I'm the shit, you know.
That whole big timer Cash Money Millionaires era, dude. That was like, you know, you felt like, even though if you were broke, you felt like you had money while listening to that. You know what I mean? Like riding around listening to Bling Bling.
Yeah, Bling Bling. Every time I
come around, you said, yeah,
and then like, yeah, and that's where we get like Drop It Like It's Hot too.
Drop
Lil
It
Wayne.
Like It's Hot. Slow Motion by Juvenile and Soulja Slim.
I used to listen to the 400 Degrees album over and over again.
Juvenile was the best, in my opinion, was the best out of all. He had
yes.
Soldier Rag, G Code. Dude, I remember being in the second grade, like practically thinking I was black, bumping that stuff. I don't know what my parents were thinking buying me those CDs, but
yeah, 400 Degrees. That was mine. That's you with that badass chick, huh? That's you that can't keep old lady because you can't hurt the rent, huh? You got to go to court, huh?
You got to pay child support, huh?
That was that nerve, huh?
Yeah, my favorite song on there was
you
that.
You get a chance to say a word, huh? I don't know, tripping. Ain't got the birds, huh?
I gotta go listen to that now. Oh man, yeah, that and you know,
you were Paper Chaser, you got your block on fire,
and
then Lil Wayne released 500 Degrees. So this is where the brilliance of Lil Wayne comes in,
right?
Because he was like on the record label, he was being abused when he was 12. Baby, like brought him to these like pre-Diddy parties in a sense, and he came out and talked about.
He talks about being raped or
exactly.
raped.
Yeah,
handled wrong, whatever, you know.
I like Lil Wayne.
And he says that he liked it, right?
If there's an Illuminati member I like Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne's pretty cool. I've never seen him do too many things suspect.
The thing he done suspect is he promotes heroin to the public.
Well, the lean drinking, absolutely. It's basically liquid heroin.
I can't get behind that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But artistically, he went from Juvenile's 400 Degrees and then he dropped his 500 Degrees album because he's just a little bit hotter and better than Juvie. And he never cursed because he was like 12. So he was dropping gangster rap for gangsters to listen to, not cussing. So that shows some talent.
First song he made was F the World.
That was a good
after
song.
His father died.
Right.
Because he made his father the promise, hey, I won't cuss in my songs, you know? But once his dad got taken from him, F the World, which is actually a great song.
That was a good song, yeah. Eminem also has a F the World type song, which is a great song, too, on some Shady LP.
Oh, yeah. I remember, man.
He also was promoting at that time the same agenda. So that's the Illuminati agenda, is to get everybody on mind-altering substances, the Aldous Huxley agenda.
The doors of perception, right?
Yes, and like the Danny Jones podcast, like it's just all promoting mind-altering substances. And I think what's going on with that show is it's a network connected to Joe Rogan, because they have the exact same symbol for their icon with the Sanpaku eyes. Of the crazy eyes. This is what I think. The same color coding as well. I think all the top influencers that are mainstream, people don't watch television. People are on their phones. So what goes viral is the mainstream. Even if they say, no, we're just podcasters with $1 billion check, speaking to presidents and technocrats and the world's richest people. But we're independent. Like, come on. It's so, people are so, the brains are broken, or they don't think. I don't know what's going on, but that whole agenda of pushing mind altering substances, that's a huge red flag for me. And even if there's like a lot of great work, like I said, I like Lil Wayne, but I gotta call him out.
Well, me and you being ex-addicts,
sure,
you know, man, like it you know, the world is completely different than when we were younger. You know, it's like when we were younger, it was like cool to smoke cigarettes, but when you were feeling down or something, that's when you would do drugs, right? When you're feeling alone, like no one understood. But now it's just like it's cool to, you know, snort this, or it's cool to, you know, pour up lean or whatever. Like, I don't know. It just seems like, and they don't even think about, well, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. At the time, I didn't think about the long-term consequences of addiction. You know, especially dealing with opiates, dude. That's a slippery slope. And living in such a small town, I'm amazed I survived. But going back to the rap music, it had a huge influence in that. Memphis especially, dude. So I have a very, very, used to have a pretty close connection with Memphis rap. I was somewhat of a rapper for 5 or 6 years back before Lil Peep. In that era, kind of around 2012, Space Ghost Perp, Lil Ugly Mane, bunch of underground. They started sampling the Memphis stuff and bringing it back. You know what I mean? I was kind of a part of that whole thing started out. We're not going to get too much into that. But, dude, while everyone was trying to do this dark gangster rap in the early 90s, and even Bone Thugs and Harmony, which I love their music, they tried to do this stuff too, and kind of emulating a rapper known as Skinny Pimp, who was in 3 6 Mafia at one time, who had a fallout with them. Memphis, dude, like, and we've talked about this a while ago, bro. Memphis had so many rappers. Its own genre was created called devil shit. And this is what Suicide Boys took and ran with. All these newer rappers took this devil shit genre and they ran with it. And so now you have all these evil, very dark samples being played in almost every mainstream song now. But back in 2012, when it was just strictly underground, it was the revival of the Memphis underground through these groups like Raider Clan, Thrax House, all these guys. Dude, like, being a part of that, there was a spirit attached to it. And I don't know if it has something to do with Memphis being Memphis, you know, with the pyramid, and maybe somehow that part of the earth was, you know, when the world was Pangea, you know, was that part of the Garden of Eden or something? Like, is there some kind of veil there, you know, that is somewhat thinning now?
Yeah, and then they got the Memphis Right Miserium, the Secret Society that Aleister Crowley
and the West Memphis
part
3.
of.
You remember the West Memphis 3, Damien Eccles, who is now, you know, a celebrity, basically. You know, him and Johnny Depp have matching tattoos, and he's
and
writing
Johnny
books.
Depp, he was just when he went through his poopy divorce, he went to this hotel, and that hotel is where the Bilderberg meetings at, and right in front of the Bilderberg meeting at this hotel is like this Freemasonic Knights Templar meeting hall, like directly in front of it.
Wow.
Yeah,
It
so
doesn't surprise me, dude. Johnny Depp is a very, very weird individual.
yeah,
And I mean, to have so many tattoos that are so processian, and to just like flaunt them, you know, to be like hang out with Marilyn Manson, and it's like
Well, Marilyn Manson is a Templar as well. Through his symbolism, you can see it. The Templar symbols in the music industry, nobody has ever covered. I'm the only channel who covers.
Well, it's very similar to the Knights of Malta too. And I know
Oh,
you've talked
absolutely.
about the Knights of Malta. Shout out William Ramsey. He came on and talked about them as well, and how basically, you know, people think that the Jays are behind Trump, and yeah, he may have a few, you know, Chabadnik rabbis or whatever.
Well,
But
I wouldn't even like it. The thing is that if you're going to leave out these crucial elements of actual power and world
Oh, yeah.
control, black nobility, Knights of Malta,
That's-
the people, they don't know what the heck they're talking about because they're one-dimensional, and that is actually a trap set up
Right.
by the Illuminati.
Right. Well, yeah, they look at this one group of people and they blame it all on them, right? But if you go and look at Trump's cabinet, a lot of, I mean, Pete Hegseth has Knights. That tattoo is a Knights of Malta tattoo. It's not
The
like
Jerusalem cross.
yeah, like that ties into a secret society, and it goes with a lot of people in Trump's cabinet have ties to this Order of Saint John or Knights of Malta Malta.
Right. And so, I mean, these are ancient power cults that are with the United Nations.
You said it,
So-
man. The black nobility.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Medici family earlier, you know, and these
I
are
wish
families.
I knew more about the Medici family. I don't
Bro,
know. But
okay. Well, we need to do a deep dive sometime on some bloodlines, dude. Me,
yeah,
you, and
that's
Thomas,
the one thing
maybe.
that I'm not very knowledgeable with. I understand the importance, and I've been doing my learning slowly with that, but it's taken like 4 years of studying it to, I don't even feel comfortable talking about the different bloodlines where you got the War of the Roses, the Tudor family, and the real bloodlines of
Right.
control
Well,
Illuminati stuff.
Well, you know, they put out there the Illuminati bloodlines, and we're familiar with them. But, you know, dude, like when you get deeper into it, you do realize that, oh, these are just the bloodlines that they're hanging out to dry. Right. In my opinion, it's like y'all have had, you know, you've had enough power, you know, you are the scapegoat now.
Right. And there's no point to even talking about it with one-dimensional people because they're in a belief system and you can't shake that. That's just how it is.
Absolutely.
The truth's never popular.
No, dude, you're absolutely right, and it also gives people like the vindication, like the feeling of being vindicated, right? With all this stuff, because you know, just as I've seen, you know, all this stuff being pushed now for everyone to hate Jews.
Yeah, all day. I'm triggered every single day. Every day I'm like, what the heck? I lost my whole following. Like I had a big following.
I hate that, man.
Most of it, and that's fine. Like it's whatever. That's just how history has always been.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot to that story. That's a whole nother podcast on its own.
Well, man, yeah, dude. I'd love to have you on more, man. I know you said you've been real busy this past year. So have I. You know, sometimes it's good to take a break from podcasting so much. And I know you've had to do a lot of your own stuff. You know, you have your Patreon, you have all the stuff you're doing. But yeah, man, no, we should get together more, DOENUT.
For sure.
I definitely think we should, dude. This was a great talk that I had with you.
Yeah, this was a good one.
This was definitely good, man.
It's
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
No,
We'll do a part
seriously.
2.
No, seriously. Let's do it, man. Let's plan it for here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Like I said, I've been busy, especially lately. We talked about it earlier. And so after this week, I'll have a lot more time freed up to start scheduling some dates and stuff. So
sounds good. Thank you so much, Jules.
Yeah, brother. Tell everyone where to find you. Tell everyone what you got coming, man.
You can find me at DOENUT, DOENUT, and I'll be releasing next month my new documentary on the occult secrets of the show The Office, which is going to be a big documentary film, highly edited. It's going to be incredible. I've been working on it for over 4 years.
Well, I can't wait for that. I may have to join your Patreon.
Well, it'll be public, so yeah, you can join the Patreon, but it'll also be public too.
Well, yeah, guys, go check out DOENUT's channel. Go subscribe if you haven't yet. I'm sure all of you had. Yeah, I don't really have any. Having Tomcat from Strange Brew Podcast on next Sunday, guys. Me and Thomas should have some sound sciences coming out here in the next few weeks. On the Elohim etymologies, those will pick back up around August. But no worries. Me and Adrian are going to plan out a few bangers, and then we'll be putting them out week after week. So we'll have some good episodes lined up for you guys. He's just real busy right now with his personal job. And yeah, I guess I will be busy this week. Y'all probably won't see me till this next weekend. You can find me on Twitter at greypilledpod, Instagram greypilled_podcast, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Go over there, subscribe. Also, greypilled.locals.com. You only have like one person over there, but patreon.com/greypilledpodcast. You get early access to the Elohim etymologies that I do with my co-host Adrian West. You get Patreon-only esoteric book reviews that I do with Subliminal Messenger every Saturday morning. They never reach the public eye. We do a Twin Peaks watch party that we started up a couple months ago that we are doing here in the next couple hours, actually. So if you are a patron, you can tune in here in the next couple hours. You'll get that link. And also, you get a free sticker pack. You get... exclusive episodes, Patreon only, link to Discord, lots of cool stuff over there on the Grey Pilled Patreon, guys. Also, go to paranoidamerican.com/discount/greypilled, and you can get 10% off your purchase. Go over there and support Thomas as well. He's a part of Grey Pilled. Like I said, sound sciences are coming back, guys. Hopefully we can get you on one of those, bro. I was on one. You were on the first couple before. See, I hopped on episode 4. We did like a stoner rock one. And then he was like, hey, how about, you know enough about music. You just want to stay on here. And,
okay, cool.
Yeah, man, that was the beginning of sound science for me and Thomas. So shouts out my brother Thomas. And I know y'all just did a show yesterday together.
Yeah, we did it on the Occult Disney. I went to Disneyland with him, and we worked on an Illuminati comic that you can get on his website as well with the Occult calendar.
I got mine coming in the mail, man. So, Nancy said some good merch. Yes, guys. Y'all go to paranoidamerican.com. Yeah, Nancy's the best, dude.
Nancy.
Jules, according to Tinfoil Hat, another... grifting Jesus lover says your wife is hot. Okay, well, yeah, she's pretty hot. She's pretty hot rebel for the truth. Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming and hanging out, guys, on YouTube. Everybody on X, thank y'all for coming and watching. It was a great show. I will see y'all later, and stay grey-pilled, everyone. Peace.
American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. Seek out all your favorite conspiracies. All of that and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret societies. All of these and more on our sticker sheets.
Explore the unique with Paranoid American sticker sheets. Unearth tales of cryptids, cults, and mysteries through each sticker. These won't last long. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.
All American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. We got all your favorite conspiracies. All of that and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret society. All of these and more on our sticker sheets.
What the heck are you waiting for? Discover the extraordinary with Paranoid American sticker sheets. From cryptids in the night to cults out of sight. Each sticker is a unique find. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.
Oh, we're still on here.